One of the brothers brought a book called Tattoos of the Heart by a man named Gregory Boyle, who was actually a priest, Catholic priest, and he was working out of Boyle Heights in Los Angeles, which at the time, which I believe was in the 90s and early 2000s when he first got there, um, it was the most violent neighborhood in Los Angeles County. Mostly Latino gangs, but all kinds of gangs there. And so he inherited this church, ended up going around on his bicycle and hitting up the gang members, speaking their language, man. He was not afraid to even use a four-letter word. But he gained their respect, first of all, from his fearlessness and also the direct way he was relating. But he had an understanding that he acquired through his association with brothers and sisters who were pulling out of the gangs, which he helped, and ended up creating an organization, Homeboys Industries, very well known now. And he's gone all over the country with some of the brothers and sisters who have gone through transformations. But he has an understanding in relating of how shame, what a trap shame is, and how it locks people down because they don't really have a recognition of what's driving them from within. They have a hopelessness. They feel like they've already dug a hole too deep to get out of. And yet, I truly believe there is no such thing. But he has an amazing witness. And I've experienced similar things, not in the way that he has, because I wasn't really the main participant in some of the transformations that I've seen, whereas he is, because he's been stable in a neighborhood that is very troubled. Of course, I am here, but we haven't seen that kind of transformation here yet. I'd love to see that. It's different here. It's not as out front. But nonetheless, his faith and his willingness to bear with others and to feel the feelings that they're going through and then to be gaining these understanding. I mean, a lot of the stories he tells are really sad because people who work really hard to get out of the gangs, the way the gangs are set up, the people who are still in there, they target them. They have a mode in which you try to get out of one of our gangs, we're going to take you out. This is what they do. So he has quite a few stories like that, the people who were actually straightening out their lives. The big thing you really get from the witness, and that I've experienced myself, especially for people who have been in dark places and feel hopeless, and then all the way to the average person, it's so much shame in this world, hidden, is the understanding that we need forgiveness and that it is already given, no matter what we've done. A brand new moment in this moment. But in order to remove shame from our being, we've got to first recognize that it's motivating us. And the motivation of shame is not a good thing. It's always going to create defense mechanisms that are destructive. Always. And when it becomes extreme, well, then you're locked down, you're in a state of hopelessness. The subtler levels, I look around, even brothers and sisters who I've known who maybe in their upbringing or just the character of the nature that they've inherited, that they struggle with shame. And generally speaking, they don't even know they're doing it. I had one brother I walked with. He was a very light brother. He was older than me. He actually came out on the road with me in the years when there wasn't much brothers and sisters walking on the road. And a light brother, very blessed brother, all his life. as far as this world goes, as good as he gets. And he was always a servant, very giving man. And so we did pilgrimage together. And at one point, I saw the shame that he was carrying. And what was amazing, I know he did not see it in himself, at least at the time. And that I would have never suspected him of having that. He had kind of an ideal upbringing in a good neighborhood, and his parents were, really good as far as in this world goes. I mean, idyllic in the sense of not a troubled life at all. And yet, deep inside, he was carrying this shame. And it had created a defense mechanism to cover itself up. And so he didn't see it in himself, but it was a little flash for me. I really believe everybody's got it. We either got it or we're capable of it. I think of myself, and my prayers for times that are hard, that I wouldn't do anything that I would be ashamed of. And yet, if I totally trust in the Father, my life is his. However he uses it, he's got it all covered already, no matter what. It's a hard place to dwell, though, because so much of our understanding of ourself is purely a self view. It's not a view that is his view. He sees us complete. The rest of this is a movie. And of course, he wants us to be free. And shame is a chain, big time. I have noticed it a little bit more in women than men. And probably is part of the inspiration why women want to be more like men, instead of really embracing how beautiful being a woman is. But yeah, historically, at least in the uh, European and other cultures, women have been degraded. And so a lot of times the interpretations people even gave of scriptures were degrading to women. So that would explain it in some degree, because of the instilling of the shame. And then there may even be, some seed place where all that comes from, which would maybe make the woman a little bit more susceptible than a man. It's a small difference, but it's noticeable to me as I observe things. The answer is the same. I don't usually like to differentiate the two genders because the differences are pretty small in reality if you're looking in the spirit. But there is a difference. There's a difference in the story of the male gender than the female gender. There's a difference in the misuses of each gender, misinterpretation of what those genders actually imply, which nowadays, of course, has gone totally off the rails in a lot of places. But understandably, because of the misuses of everything. I mean, what would seem to be righteous or right is related in a way that isn't. So that would confuse people. But yeah, shame, the covering, really believing that this is a brand new moment and that the Lord has forgiven you of everything up to this moment if you ask for it and you're real with him. He'll even forgive you for the things you haven't quite repented of yet because you don't see them yet. He does. Of course, there's the laws that govern everything. If you're going to continue on in that direction, you're going to pay a price, but he'll never let you go. That's a promise. And he's got you covered if you're his. Thank you. Amen.